Hello, it's me, Lonnie Haddon, with another video that you can like and share. And I just want to know today, do you feel like you keep going through a bad point in your life? Bad things keep happening. You lose your house, you get kicked out, you get evicted, relationships aren't going right, you keep getting into fights and arguments. You just can't get along at this church or that church. You can't get along at this job or that job. And maybe you lost your house to foreclosure rather than selling it. Maybe you just find your finances are just not right. Your relationships are not right. Maybe it's due to just basically not forgiving others and forgiving yourself, number one. And number two, because you don't know how to fully be obedient yet. Now, I'm not a minister, I'm not an ordained minister, but any Christian can minister. So sometimes you'll hear me say things about God or scripture. If you are not Christian and you don't want to listen to this video, you can feel free to turn the channel, but please do not dislike just because you have a different religion or view. Just go ahead and move on. But those of you that have been helped from this video, or you think someone else can be helped from this video, please like and share this video. It's very helpful. So you feel like you're having some problems, things haven't been going right in your life. Let's talk about one. Going back to that place in your life where someone hurt you, whether you were molested, whether someone put you in the hospital for a physical or mental problem, maybe a corporation did you wrong, maybe you were wrongly fired, or maybe you were wrongly laid off or let go. Maybe someone hit you, a drunk driver hit you, and maybe they didn't stop. Maybe you got in a car accident and the person never apologized. Maybe someone hurt someone or killed someone in your family and you never got an apology. You need to go back to that place and forgive that person. If you can go back to the actual person and you feel comfortable doing that in a safe manner where they would not hurt you or attack you, then yes, go back to that person and say, you know what, I forgive you for what you did. You did this to me and it hurt me, but I forgive you and I let it go and I'm at peace with it. And don't do it for them, you do it for yourself. Because when you forgive others, you can let go of that portion of your life in that past that you keep judging other people on. Maybe your current relationship is not working, your current job is not working because you keep thinking they're going to hurt you like this person hurt you in the past. Okay, maybe you're disobedient because maybe someone abused their authority, and that's the second portion I want to talk about. Maybe your parents, maybe they beat you, maybe they whipped you with a belt, maybe they whipped you with a switch. And unfortunately in the African American communities, some parents do still whip with belts or use physical abuse in some way, shape, or form, because as slaves we were beat with whips and that's how we were corrected, and it's been handed down for generation to generation. But we need to break that generational curse. We need to break that method of punishment, and we need to be able to talk to our children. Yes, a swat on the butt is okay. The Bible says, what spoil the rod, spoil the child, or something like that, or spare the rod, spoil the child. I'm sorry, spare the rod, spoil the child. So you should correct your children at home, even if you have to swat them on the butt, so that the police don't have to correct them and put them in jail later. You need to correct bad behavior and disobedience, but you don't need to hurt or kill your kids. You need to stop doing that. It's not correct. And when they become the age where they can understand, you need to talk to them, so they're not in their closet huddled up plotting how they're going to kill you or kill someone else or hurt themselves or commit suicide. That's not a good way to punish your kids by using a belt or excessive force. So basically, you're teaching your kid that they can't trust authority, that they can't talk to authority in a good manner, that either they're going to rise up against authority and be disobedient and never respect authority, or the other way is that they'll never talk to authority and make sure that they get the legal action that they need to have take place in their lives. Maybe they will never stand up for themselves because they're scared of authority. You don't want to do that to your child. You're here to protect them. God gave you that child to protect them for the rest of their life, and you need to be there for your child. Okay? So that's what I just wanted to talk to you about, is forgiving that person in your past. And if you don't feel safe with going to that person and saying, hey, I forgive you and I forgive myself, and maybe you think about it and you say, you know what, maybe it wasn't that person's total fault that I ended up in that situation, that I had that loss or that bad thing happen to me. Maybe I did something to cause it, and you need to take responsibility for what you did. Now, don't place blame on yourself where it doesn't need to be placed. But if you did have a place in it, maybe you get angry all the time and you haven't let that go, or you haven't been obedient and you don't take correction well, then you need to start taking correction well, and you need to start being obedient so that people don't do bad things to you, people don't evict you, and people don't fire you or lay you off because you've been disobedient. If you let me just say that there are different types of authority. Some people don't understand what authority is. In the Bible, it says you must obey your mother and father so that your days will be long upon the earth. Okay, so we know there, right there, your mother and father are authority. Therefore, your step parent is a form of authority. Your guardian, your grandmothers, your grandfathers, your aunts and uncles are authority. Police are a form of authority. They want to make it home safe the same way you do. And I'm not going to get into the police brutality. We all know about that, but make it a little bit easier on yourself, because you don't know if you're going to get a good cop or a bad cop. Your best bet is to, if you can record it, then record it quietly and silently. But if they tell you don't reach for your phone to record, don't record, because you need to submit to authority, and you don't want to tick them off to the point that, you know, they want to hurt you, or you don't want them to think that you're reaching for a gun and, you know, they shoot you. But my main thing is, what I teach my kids is, you know, if the police stop you, first of all, don't break the law. If the police do stop you, you know, respect the authority. You can ask, hey, was there anything, what did I do wrong, or whatever, you know, and then you fight it in court. You can live to fight it in court if you don't buck with the police. Okay, that's all I have to say about police brutality. I'm not going into if it's right or wrong. We all know, we've seen the videos. You make that decision for yourself. But I have always been obedient to authority, rather it landed me in a bad position with a ticket or whatever it may be, a court case or whatever. Even if it were to land me in jail, I would obey authority, because I believe, you know, there are some good people in the world, and, you know, at least I want to live to see my day in court. Okay, so, you know, and if you get a bad cop that does something bad, then, you know, God will take care of that, and you put it in God's hands. And we're fighting, there's many organizations that's fighting that, and I will leave it at that. I'm not speaking on it. I've said enough. I've said more than I should. Okay, so you want to be obedient to authorities like your pastors, your landlord, your bill collectors. Yes, it says you should pay your bills on time. Maybe you have bad credit or bad finances. You can't get a house, you can't get a car because you haven't paid your bills on time. Yes, I understand. Some of us don't have good jobs, or, you know, because of our race we've been discriminated against. We're not making as much as another person, or maybe we didn't you know, graduate from high school. But then that's, again, you know, you have to be obedient. And if your parents tell you to finish high school, or you think it's right to finish high school, if you don't have a parent, get a mentor, get someone in your life that, you know, can be an authority and tell you what direction to go. Finish high school. That's called being obedient. If nobody's told you, you know that it's good to finish high school anyway. So be obedient, and then your life is much easier. I'm doing a video, Michi. And so That's my nephew. But you're being obedient to authority. So obedience could be, like I said, your auntie, your uncle, being obedient to your parents, being obedient to your boss. You know, some people go in and work and then they get upset and they think they're going to give their boss a piece of their mind. Next thing you know, they got a pink slip, they're on their way out the door, or they're going over their boss's head, complaining, being disobedient, not doing what their boss said. Your boss doesn't have to tell you that that's disobedient to go and complain and murmur to someone else. And it says in Philippians 2:14, it says, do all things without murmuring and disputing. And I love that because it helps in your marriage and your relationships as well. If, you know, your mate asks you to do something, you know, hey, babe, can you throw this away? Can you clean the kitchen? Oh, yes, honey, thank you. Do it without murmuring and disputing, and will, you know, alleviate a lot of arguments. Okay, if they abuse that, okay, just have a conversation. Okay, I need to, you know, don't tell me what to do all the time. But if someone is correcting you, you should take correction. That's how we grow, and that's part of, you know, being a Christian or being anybody. You know, just, you can't grow if you don't take critical criticism from someone. Now, I'm not saying that someone can curse you out and say that, you know, you're ugly, you don't mean anything to anyone. Of course, in God, you are wonderful, you are awesome, He made you in His image. You shouldn't listen to the enemy trying to tell you bad things like that. But if someone is giving you good correction and saying, hey, maybe you should keep your room clean, maybe you should iron your clothes, maybe, you know, you should eat a little bit better, maybe you should exercise, okay, I'm going to take that. And especially if it's someone you're living with, or you're using their car, or you're using their clothes, you're using something that they possess, then they have authority over you to say, hey, I want you to operate with my thing in this way, with my possession. Please treat it like this. Please keep it clean. You know, and you shouldn't be yelling and trying to fight them. You know, if your landlord says rent is due, you shouldn't be going questioning what, oh, I should be paying this amount or that amount. You pay it on time when they said that you were going to pay it, that when you said you were going to pay it, and you don't murmur and dispute, or, you know, it can lead to an eviction or a bad relationship, and you can end up losing that house. And I don't condone fighting, but I would protect myself because the enemy can come up against you. And sometimes when a bad spirit is working within someone, you know, when the enemy tries to use our closest friends and family to upset us, and sometimes, you know, it's basically a way to, you know, correct you so that you know how to act when someone is yelling at you or being ignorant. You can walk the other way and say, just, God bless you, have a good day, peace, be still. If you can walk away from that argument, fine, let it go, brush it off. Don't get involved in ignorance. God said, do not talk into an unwise man. So if you're talking to someone and they're not listening, let it go. Stop. Don't continue to try to, you know, keep a relationship going with them, especially if they keep hurting you. I believe in forgiveness, but if the person keeps hurting you over and over again, make you lose your job, your car, always fighting you, lands you in jail, you know, just taking away the peace around you, and, you know, just ruining your life, then you need to back away from that person. I'm not saying don't take a phone call. If you want to be nice and take a phone call, don't leave on a nasty note. You don't have to be ignorant. Don't do evil for evil, because you never know when you have to cross that bridge again. You don't want to burn bridges to where you can't cross that bridge again. And this is something that pastors have to do really well, because pastors come against a lot of members with a lot of baggage, and they hurt their pastors. They're not trying to. It's just a spirit within them that's disobedient that comes up against them, and the pastors have to deal with it with a way that they can keep their head up and, you know, forgive their members and move on. But speak to them just enough so that they don't feel so hurt, because it's not really the person that's the problem, it's the spirit working within them. If we understand that, we can love that person when they're being angry and ignorant. But like I said, David killed Goliath. If you read in, I believe it was in Samuel in the Bible, where David went up against a giant. This giant was basically a bully, and, you know, no one else really wanted to go up against this giant. and David was just a little shepherd boy, and he killed the giant with a slingshot. And sometimes when people come against you, if somebody is coming against you and they're coming full flesh with their fists about to, you know, put their foot in your tail, then you beat them up, you protect yourself, you don't let them kill you. I'm not saying beat their head to the ground to, you know, to the white meat or anything like that, but protect yourself so that, you know, they don't hurt you, because definitely if the enemy's coming against you, you have to protect yourself. But if you can at all avoid a confrontation, I tell my kids, hey, if you can tell, you know, an authority figure, if you can call the police, or, you know, tell a teacher, tell a parent, tell someone before it goes to, you know, putting hands on someone. If someone's picking on you, if someone is just, you know, picking at you by putting their hands on you, picking at you, tell someone. But if they fall out, hit you, then you have to protect yourself. And Christians cannot be weak. They have to protect themselves. So I'm just telling you, you know, forgive people, but don't let people in your life that keep hurting you and that want to ruin your life, that are jealous and have that jealous, envious spirit and are disobedient. I'm asking you to check your heart today and become that person that's not jealous. Be happy for someone. If someone has more than you, they have the house, they have the job, you know, they're at church, their clothes are nice, you know, they got the God in them and everything, congratulate them and get to know them, because once you hang around people that have more, then, you know, you can learn how to get the things that they have. Not covet and take what they have, but get your own in the way that God would have that blessing for you. But if you're jealous and you attack that person and you try to bring them down and try to take what God gave them, God is not going to bless you. So, you know, you have to be careful of who you are attacking and being jealous. That's not good. God blesses those, you know, they said, you know, God in the Bible, it says, you know, man should work by the sweat of his brow. So he will bless the person that works for his own rather than take it from someone else. So you want to be having this forgiveness to get over what's happened in your life, so you don't have this depression or this mental illness hanging over your head, where you're losing jobs and messing up relationships because you keep thinking that person's going to hurt you like this person hurt you in the past, and going back and thinking what happened in the past. Let it go, forgive them, let it go, move on. Now, if you can't go back, like I said, if you don't feel safe going to that person and asking them or telling them you forgive them and confronting the situation, just go in your closet and say, you know what, I forgive this corporation for, you know, abusing me, for whatever the racism that's been done to me, this police officer that hurt me, I forgive them, I let it go. I forgive this pastor that hurt me, I forgive this whatever, this a figure of authority, my mother, my father, my family, to forgive me. If you can't go back and say, hey, you know, you hurt me, just, you know, if you think it's going to lead to a bad relationship or, you know, a fight or whatever, just forgive them in your heart and say, hey, I'm going to move forward from this situation. I'm not going to think about it anymore. Yes, this person hurt or killed someone that I cared about, but I'm moving on. I'm letting it go. I can't do anything about it. And it's not going to bring them back to have this animosity in my heart against this person that hurt my family or my friend. So I'm going to move on, because I'm the one still living. I have to live my life and I have to let it go. Don't have this mental illness. You don't have to live with this mental illness. You don't have to live with this depression. You don't have to live feeling like you can't socialize or you can't pay attention, you can't focus. Let that stuff out of your mind so you can focus. Stop thinking about everything around you and what happened in the past and how people have done you, so you can focus on what you need to focus on. Okay, so I hope this video helped someone. If it didn't help you, please like and share it, so it may help someone else that is in need. So, you know, like I said, just if someone hurts you, also say, hey, God bless you, love you, peace be still, and walk away from the situation. Don't deal with all the mess, okay? Sometimes you have to leave toxic people in the past and not take them into your new year or your next day. Do not take them. You know, if God gives you a way out from toxic people, take it. You know, don't take toxic people with you. They'll keep trying to tear you down. They've torn you down so many times before. When someone shows you their true colors and who they are, believe them. Okay, the devil is a liar, and you can tell a bad person by the fruit that they bear. So a good tree will bear good fruit, a bad tree will bear bad fruit. So that's how you know if you're dealing with a good or bad person, if you should have them in your life or not. All right, God bless you. It's Lonnie Haddon. You can check out my website at http://khaddon1.wixsite. That's wixsite.com/cost reducers. I'm a life coach and also a purchasing consultant by webinar, and also photographer. And so and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on my website or email me at LonnieHaddon@outlook.com. All right. Love you. Have a good day. Bye.